This is going to be a power-packed video. We're talking about YouTube Growth 101, how to grow if you have a small channel. So if you're just starting, you're trying to reach your first 1,000 subscribers and beyond, we're going to be getting into some nuanced tactics, many of which you've probably never heard before. And we're going to be going through some specific channels so we can look at real-world content that are from our community, talking about YouTube Shorts, talking about longs, thumbnails, titles. So buckle your seatbelt. And today I am joined by my friend Rob from vidIQ, who is a YouTube expert. Rob, how's it going?
Hey, Sean, how's it going? I am currently having a 2 of 10 day. And what that means is that I've launched a video today that's a 2 of 10. So I'm fairly satisfied. I'm not ecstatic, but I'm feeling good.
I think that we're tied up. Nolan dropped a video on Think Media today. It is 2 out of 10. And I also just heard that YouTube News announced that they're debating on removing that feature or allowing people to turn it on or off because it causes anxiety. And I get it.
All right.
So like, I got to get a 1 out of 10. I got to get, and then, you see 10 out of 10, you get depressed, eat a pint of Ben and Jerry's, watch 4 episodes of Netflix, and then try to sleep it off. But I'm excited because we're going to dive straight into Jesse Frangel's channel. He's up in Toronto, all things real estate. And immediately I'm struck by kind of the cool professionalism of the channel. It does feel like the thumbnails are clean. There's maybe some tweaks we can make there. So I'm going to let Rob make some observations. And he's a commercial real estate broker and investor. That's unique. And he has also been a contributor to the Bigger Pockets YouTube channel. We are not posting on the community tab. Come on, Jesse. We'll talk about that in a second. We've got some shorts coming out here and we've got some videos. So Rob, what are some of your initial thoughts?
So I would say that the channel from a foundational point of view is set up for success. I'm seeing a good structure here. Love the channel banner. Very professional. You just scroll up again. I just want to see, they do have a value proposition, a relatively simple one, all things real estate. And what it seems to appear is that they're not localizing themselves to a certain area. So they have, I guess, a broader reach with their audience. That's followed through with the thumbnails as well, Sean. I think these are of a particular strong order as well. The one thing I might think about, and this is just potentially an experiment, do you need to have 2 faces on the thumbnails? You have the host and you have your guest. Do you require the guest or the host? That would just be something to experiment with, because the more faces you put on screen, the more text you put on screen, and then along with the backgrounds, they are starting to get a little cluttered. And in some cases, I like to call this like thumbnail wallpaper. They're using the same kind of text in the middle of a thumbnail. And from one thumbnail to the other, I'm seeing that the host is the same face over and over again on a lot of these. So perhaps adding a little bit of variety. But those are the initial impressions. And I'm also seeing one breakout video here as well with 1,300 views. The Economy and Commercial Real Estate Investing 2022. Curious that here the year was 2022 when that was presumably published in 2023. Was that kind of like a review of last year? I'm a little puzzled by that title, but the format did work. So, could they just republish the video and talk about 2023? Ads. Good old ads.
Oh, that's a great idea. And we're going to flop over here to Think Media, so I have no ads. We'll check out a video here in just a second. And to go a little bit deeper on your strategy, exactly what we're doing today is what you suggested. You're obviously our wise guest today. But in terms of positioning the content, I did a thumbnail that is just solo me. And it makes it more simple, allows the text to be maybe more simple, etc. And so we go back and forth, but that's a great point. Do you need to, quote unquote, force 2 people into the thumbnail? And you have the option to do 2 people. You could do just you as the host. You also could do just the guest. And thinking through which of those would be most strategic is a great question. As we look at YouTube, this video, this was 2 months ago, so it was right at the end. That is interesting. It was right at the end of 2022. Did very well.
Right, okay.
And so, but yeah, the economy and real estate investing 2023 an update. That's a great title. I think the other thing that I notice here is most of the content, or almost all of it, is 30 minutes, 41, 24, 39. A lot of what would seem like a video podcast,
Podcast length, yeah.
which is great if you're setting expectations for that. But then the question becomes, what could happen if some clips came out of here, or if you did some growth-based videos. Maybe this is one of those. That's a solo round. Let's check it out.
I do a quick video here. I was lucky enough to be featured on a podcast called CPI. It's Canadian Passive Investing.
Professional setup as well. Good lighting. I like the studio setup.
Yeah. And one thing immediately that hits me, though, in this video is I think the opening could be a lot stronger. Hey, I'm about to do a quick video.
Yeah.
Okay. I was featured on a podcast recently. All right. What's like the takeaway, or what's a big hook, or what's something that's going to really grab me as to make me want to stay around for 7 minutes? Let's see.
Host is August and Ava. Awesome team. Somewhat topical because we're talking about the Canadian real estate market. I'm here in Toronto. I think originally they are from out west, Western Canada. And we were talking about some of the expensive markets and just capital raising in general. So I'll play that quick video.
Okay, pause it there, Sean. We are 30 seconds into this, and I, as a viewer, am asking myself, this is all fascinating for you, the creator. What's in it for me? What value are you going to deliver to me? And I need a kind of reinforcement of that hook in the first 30 seconds. And I think also the title was somewhat functional as opposed to exciting. As I understand it, Sean, the video that you released on Think Media today was with a title expert, Jake Thomas, who has all of these awesome formulas for making really curious and clickable titles. So, Jesse, I would highly recommend watching that video. We also did a video, ironically enough, with Jake Thomas that got released today as well. That's also talking about title thumbnails. Like, Jake Thomas has just appeared on the scene, has taken the title writing world by storm on
Here's
YouTube.
a question for you. If you're selling,
highly recommend checking out Jake Thomas on Think Media and vidIQ.
100%. And this is that video he's talking about. And I think that's another lever. I think investing in the hook and powering up the title, real estate investing in Toronto and raising capital. Like, it's kind of flat. And I actually, today's video is brought to you by vidIQ. We're hanging out here with vidIQ. I wonder if we could fix this title here.
Ooh.
We're using the vidIQ AI coach, and real estate investing in Toronto, how to raise capital quickly. Okay,
it's getting there.
So real estate investing in Toronto, or how would you tweak it?
My question would be almost trying to deliver a little bit of fear or anxiety into it. For example, is real estate investing in Toronto dead, or is 2023 the worst year to invest in Toronto real estate? Like, something that adds a little bit of a curiosity and I don't want to set the viewer in panic mode, but you want to get them asking trying to get the answer to the question.
All right, so I'm going to go write 10 titles for real estate investing in Toronto. And here it gives us some more options. Real estate investing in Toronto, the essential guide, the ins and out of real estate investing in Toronto. Now, I think so we want to raise capital. And so you could say write 10 titles for real estate investing in Toronto and raising capital. And so, all right. Insider tips and a lot. I noticed a lot of these titles all kind of seem kind of just the economy and commercial real estate outlook. What makes the city thrive? I think there's a little bit of an opportunity, I think, with topics and titles. Raising capital for real estate investing in Toronto, secrets revealed. Then you eliminate the guest, because maybe no one's going to recognize the guest in the thumbnail. You do just the host, and the host has got a house with a lock on it and light coming out of it, and like it's locked up. What are the secrets inside of the house? You start thinking through, and now that would be how the title thumbnail could play off each other. Unlock, hey, a lock. unlock powerful strategies to raise capital for Toronto real estate investing. So this right here is just the vidIQ AI coach taking a title or a topic you have, throwing it in there, and then realizing how maybe it could allow you to pivot if the title is true. If it is about getting started, or if it is, then you may be able, you could go back and improve some of your current titles, but especially for future titles, that is an opportunity that you have as well. And by the way, if you want to check all this stuff out, you could get a 30-day trial of vidIQ's paid plan for just $1 at vidiq.com/think. And you get access to this and a lot of other cool stuff that we can dive into a little bit later. Big shout out to vidIQ for sponsoring today's video. And by the way, we're going to do some Q&A. So if you have a question, put 4 question marks before and after your question. Rob and I will be tackling those. But any final thoughts for Jesse? I think there's a lot there. Titles, thumbnails, topics, and get that hook right in the videos.
I think what they may be doing with their titles and perhaps their content in general is aiming solely for search. And while that can occasionally get you some decent evergreen content and traffic, as you say, Sean, I think there's an opportunity here to make the titles just a little more intriguing, a little more emotional, and getting the viewer to potentially feel something before they click on the videos. Right now, I feel as if they're very much search-driven titles. And in 2023, you need to be a little bit more sophisticated than that.
Always dropping bombs. Thank you, Rob. And let's dive into the next channel for today. And that's Seven Sparrows Farm. Let's see what we can learn here. This is an interesting new feature. Maybe it's been here for a while, but your about page, you used to have to go to about. Not a lot of people probably really went there.
Yeah.
We would often coach people that the reason to write strong words and copy on your about page was almost more for you than an audience. Maybe somebody would go there, but it was that you would take the time to articulate and get clear on the vision of your channel. But now, right below the name and the YouTube handle and the subscribers and the amount of videos is kind of a quick little arrow that when you click, it takes you to the about page, which also speaks to the first sentence of your about page is now being seen on the channel homepage. And on the homepage, you could click that. It's going to take you over here. So you may not need to even say welcome to Seven Sparrows Farm because that's already the title here. You may say something here like, you know, animals, farm structures, planting, and tools, and everything for farm enthusiasts, or something like as concise as possible tagline. That also is another touch point that YouTube. Did you know how long this has been here, Rob?
I think it's kind of appeared sporadically in the last couple of months. So as you say, it's very new. And what have you got to play with there? Maybe 50 characters. I'm thinking of try to think of writing a title for your channel in the sense that it's a value proposition.
Very good. So this is animals, farm structures, planning, tools, and everything in between. 300,000 views on the channel. By the way, shout back to Jesse. Use the community tab. Shout out to Seven Sparrows Farm. 5 months ago, they did have a post, but it's been a while. It's not going to absolutely change the whole game for you. People say, is the community tab the secret? Well, no, it's not the secret. But I just did a talk at Social Media Marketing World. One of my big topics was 11 different insider hacks and tips and tools like the community tab. We grew 1,500 subscribers just from community tab posts in the last 90 days on Think Media. Now, we already have momentum. I understand our channels, whatever, but nevertheless, just community tab posts have led to new subscribers. So just don't ignore the community tab would be the tip of the day there. But we've been around 2 years with 222,000 views on the best way to split and stack firewood. We maybe been around longer, but that's the most viewed video that I can find. And still out here being consistent. And on the new uploads a day ago, 2 months ago. So really, it's been a couple months since a new upload has happened. But 5 power tools you need for your homestead here. And as I dive into this gets me excited because I am excited about affiliate marketing. And sure enough, Amazon links are down here for the Ryobi circular saw, jigsaw, the impact driver. Good video topic for that.
And show you some of the things that I put together. And
let's check this hook out.
Today we are talking about 5 must-have power tools for your homestead. Now, these are 5 different tools that we've used in a lot of different ways. I'm going to show you those. I'm going to give you one
Show us the tools.
tool that I think you'll really like.
Ooh, B-roll.
There we are. There was a little bit.
Yeah, so rather than just talking head, what people want to see is the tools. If you had, and right there, you're kind of hiding. I know like it's a little bit of mystery, but even if you actually just clip all 5 tools could be overlaid with B-roll while you're talking in the intro. Is that how you do it, Rob?
I would say so, like 2 or 3 seconds, just hinting at potentially what they do, or like the quick thing that they do, but it's so fast you don't quite capture it. And you got to carry on watching to find out what they do and how much they cost and how you put them together.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too afraid of like spoiling it. Like, oh, now I get it. It actually just kind of in a way whets the viewer's appetite to want to see more. Or you show stuff like this,
A lot of limbs down.
which is like, oh, I can do that. I do need to trim one of my trees. You know, you start seeing kind of it in the wild, and you have great B-roll here. So that'd be a good way to power up the hook. One of my personal preferences too is when doing chapters and time codes is not using the word intro. Is actually just trying to say something different than intro, because the reason why is viewers are becoming so savvy that they a lot of times will be like, I'm going to skip right to power tool number 1, because if you've promised in the title 5 power tools you need, then I can just skip here and say, no, you know, I don't need you to tell me what you're about to tell me. I can just skip right to it. It's not to say that there shouldn't be an intro, essentially a hook that's teeing up the context, but it actually has caused me to rethink my openings, that there be some value in it. Or a lot of times if I'm doing maybe even a training that's kind of YouTube based about trends or something, I try to pack a stat right up front or something like it, you know, new data just came out that there's now the YouTube podcast feature, and I'll show the article just to make the intro actually something that's different than just an intro, you know, so people don't necessarily skip through. But that's just a little tactic. So Rob, what are some of your thoughts about Seven Sparrows Farm?
So I just wanted to add about the community tab. Absolutely, you should be using it as soon as you have access to it. And we think that aspects of the community tab are overpowered, specifically polls and a brand new tool that's come out very recently, Q&A, where you can ask a question and have somebody, you got 2 questions or 4 questions or 4 answers, and then you choose the right one. And you seem to get a lot of impressions from those posts and a very high degree of engagement. We sometimes get up to 30 to 50% engaging with our community tab, which is incredible for the reach that they have. And it allows you to reach your audience when you are not posting content. So like you post, say, once a week, you could do 6 community posts on the other days to make sure that you're still reaching your viewers, audience on a regular basis. As regards to the channel, we saw that there was one outlier video, wasn't there, Sean, that had about 200,000 views. And I also noticed that it was 2 years old.
Today I want to talk about,
as you often say, success leaves clues, make part 2s, or in this case, remake this video. And you could make it in such a way that it's shorter. So the best way to split and stack firewood in 5 minutes, can you condense this video a little bit so it has a new angle to it? Maybe you've learned something new in the last 2 years, or maybe you're just a better content creator, so it's better production values and so on and so forth. Because this is evergreen content. This is one of your entry points into your channel. And I guess the other question I would ask is, have they added affiliate links to that older performing video just to make sure that the best performing video is getting the same opportunities? So they've got the gear they use, but perhaps not what they're like the axe, for example. And all
the splitting mall could potentially have an affiliate link. Maybe some of this stuff, maybe this much heavier duty thing could be on Lowe's or Home Depot or some other industrial type of site. Maybe they have an affiliate link. That's a great point. And what I also think, spinning off of that smart advice, is turning it also into different content formats. Success leaves clues, make part 2s. You said shorter instead of 8 minutes. Maybe it's a condensed 5-minute or 6-minute version or 4-minute, but also a YouTube short.
Yep.
And a YouTube short that maybe has a voiceover, because especially when you have B-roll like this, you could show you're like the 3 best ways to split firewood or something, because it's the best way to split and stack firewood. And you show this tool, you show them all, you show the other way, Or you just show one way. Like this is a cool, if you know, want to save time when splitting firewood, use a splitting maul. So if a video has 5 points, there's the short version, less than 60 seconds. It maybe just shows the B-roll really quickly. And then if it could also just be the one spin-off point could be turned into a YouTube short. And when you are, you know, in our program called Video Reagan Academy, we start with reverse engineer would be the first one and then research. But if you're thinking ahead during your content creation process, you may be thinking, I could do the less than 60-second version of this because I'm already getting all this footage. I already kind of have the framework of it. You know, recently I did a short about my favorite kind of vertical video setup that I'll put off to the side when I'm on a podcast so I can repurpose the footage. And I did it about, it's a Sony ZV-1. And we've done many videos. This could be a 10-minute video easily, right? But it also could be a 44-second short that just shows off the things. So if you have 5 tips, some kind of listicle, 5 things, 7 things, you can just quickly go through it. And maybe it leaves people wanting more. You then would have the opportunity to do a pinned comment that links to maybe a longer version. Or in this case, I actually did a pinned comment, you know, citing that these are affiliate links and put a list of the gear. And I actually give a call to action at the end of the video that says, check out a list of the gear in the pinned comment. And so just different things you could do, taking your winners and repurposing them into other types of content. Rob, what do you think about these thumbnails?
I think they're of a generally high quality. These are some of the most popular ones. The latest ones are a little more, I don't want to say amateur, but some of them I think are trying to play on a bit of humor, like these animals holding power tools in the latest one. And then the chicken here with a hat and they're feeling cold. Sometimes I think creators can try to be a little too clever in their thumbnails and it loses the essence of a messaging. And that can be really tricky to do. Like you think adding detail and more ideas to the thumbnail makes it more clickable. But the truth is, a viewer or a potential viewer is going to see your thumbnail for a second, maybe 2 seconds, and they have to have that instant connection with the thumbnail. And with this one, I have to first work out why the animals are carrying power tools. And then there's a question mark there as well. So without the title, this could be some kind of weird animated animal fight going on. But actually it's about the best 5 power tools. But because these animals are in there holding the power tools, it kind of loses a little bit of an instinctive, immediate recognition of what I'm getting into in the videos. So maybe, Sean, they might just be overthinking the thumbnails a little bit too much in some of these.
Yeah, I literally, if the other thing that's interesting is you sometimes feel it's 5 best power tools. And sometimes you feel like you have to put all 5 in when really just a hero shot of one tool or the most unique looking tool. That's also, you said it exactly right. Trying to be too clever. It's clear over clever. If you confuse, you lose. And people's attention spans are so short. Our brain power is also so worn down. Like we're being accosted by so many options of things to click on and so many different advertisements. So what we want to do is do our best to simplify messaging for viewers. If it's a second to go, what exactly is that? We'll move on, even if we only do so subconsciously, just because of pure fatigue. Whereas if we have clear messaging that cuts through the noise, then someone goes, oh, that sounds interesting. And they click on it. And I would agree. Not only that, but if you think about the rule, we call it the rule of 3. We don't actually call it that. We stole that from Netflix. And there was a great article about Netflix thumbnails that typically you're shooting for like 3 things. It could be a tool, a question mark in the background, or it could be one word, a tool, and you. Probably not an animal because the animals wouldn't use the tools. But all that to say is if you do add these things up, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things happening here in the thumbnail.
It's quite a flat thumbnail as well because I think the background is in sharp focus. So your eyes are being drawn all over the thumbnail.
This Casey Neistat, there's Casey, it's over. It's kind of 2 things in the background, super clean. It works every time. The word, the graph shooting up, a couple logos. That's 3 or 4 elements. 3 elements is kind of, different things we're after. We're doing similar things over there. So, I mean, the takeaway is not trying to even, you want to find your own style. It's not vidIQ's style or Think Media style, but the simplicity of the elements, the simplicity of the messaging, those would be the universal principles that all of us could use to strengthen our thumbnails and get a higher click-through rate. Joshua says, is there a tool that measures micro expressions in the thumbnail image and compares it to what micro expressions get people to click the most? So we all know the YouTuber face. If we're on the vidIQ channel here, I am so frustrated and discouraged. I am happy. I am almost mad and full of energy. I am fatigued and disappointed with my revenue. I think that's what we're talking about, micro expressions.
Right.
Josh, you know anything on this, Rob?
I spent an entire day doing, I think, 150 YouTube expressions last week to get all of those looks. I think generally a very strong expression without it looking ridiculous. So what I do is when I'm taking my thumbnails is I take 3 pictures of myself. So let's say we're going to do one which is shot. First, there will be the normal one, then the slightly exaggerated one, and then the just ridiculous one. And I'll take, a barometer of which one I think is most appropriate for the thumbnail. So I've got a bit of choice there. Seeing the whites of your eyes is generally a good idea. And also, you don't necessarily have to look at the viewer, but if you're looking at an object, say, the viewer is going to track your eyes as to what you're looking at on the thumbnail as well. So those are my general bits of advice for thumbnails. Another thing I also do is we're trying to learn how to sharpen our thumbnails so that when you shrink down a thumbnail, it loses an incredible amount of detail. So you almost need to over detail the thumbnail in order to keep some of it when it's shrunk down. We're just experimenting with it now. We've just got our hands on a thumbnail designer who knows how to use Photoshop, and they are doing some really interesting and incredible work with it.
Yeah, and Joshua, I don't think we do know of like a tool that is algorithmically studied. There is definitely a lot of people who have data of these days. Stoic is kind of the trend. Actually, there's a lot of you'll see stoic faces. I was looking at Hope. I think Hope Shoemaker is kind of it's kind of an interesting example, but it's like a there's still like an art form to the stoic. It's and recently we shot, that's not who the person is. I'm trying to, Hope Scope is what it is. Oh, that's what it is. Hope Scope. And unless it's not, it is. Okay, good. And so you kind of have her facial expressions kind of like almost the same, and it's not super exaggerated in any one direction. You got the hand on the face. And so recently we also kind of we're going more stoic, a slight the 1 cent yard sale, different things we're doing with the eyes. Obviously these are kind of photoshopped. A lot of people take cues from Beast, who kind of has almost an anime cartoon kind of overlay. What is also interesting is you look at, because some people say, well, I'm a professional. And if you look at someone like an Alex Hormozy, whose channel is blown up, and my friend Caleb Ralston's his kind of creative director, you just smiling, the eyes, AI, stoic and determined. And so, yeah, I think it's about finding your own style. But yeah, as far as tools go, Joshua, I think experimenting and doing all of the above. Going to take a couple quick questions before we get into the next channel. We're not doing open channel reviews. These are just a few channels from our Video Reiki Academy program. Shout out to our sponsor today, vidIQ, and definitely check links in the description and resources, including a 30-day trial of vidIQ's paid plan for just $1. Lots of cool tools in there, like your daily ideas tool, new AI tools like the AI coach, competitor tools that I love to use to get data and insights from competitors, trends, and all the above. And before the next channel, I want to take a quick question. how do you convert long form videos to shorts? There's a couple different ways to convert your long form videos to short form. There is the remix feature. That would be the ability to just actually take the YouTube video and remix it. But when we say convert videos, I think about actually editing shorts intentionally into a new piece of content, which would start all the way back at the beginning of your production and maybe thinking through of creating the shot a little bit wider, because you know that if it's framed this way, that it's going to really crop into my face if we go like this. But if I'm thoughtful to maybe have the frame be a little bit wider, then actually now this could be potentially a better short. And if I use Final Cut or Premiere or anything, I throw down my timeline, edit my video, export it, upload it to YouTube, and then maybe start a new timeline in the vertical video format, take the B-roll from that I've shot on the other one, grab a USB mic and say, here's 5 tools you should use, the farm tools that are essential, and do a voiceover and just show the B-roll of the tools and actually create a short that maybe has a fresh hook. If I've done a script or some outline for my longer form video, I could probably quickly do a 40-second script voiceover and just use the B-roll from my longer form video or clips from it. So I know I just threw a lot at you, but when we say convert, I don't necessarily just try to mean like force an edited, finalized YouTube video into a short. Best practice, if you've got the time and the margin and you plan this out into your workflow, is to use the assets that you already have and make them into a dialed short that can really potentially crush. And you might rework the hook and rework the end and switch some things around. All right, let's dive into the, if you've been getting value today, hit the like button. We're going to jump into Valerie Jimen's channel.
Look at the about on that one, Sean. Love that. Lead your life with power and purpose. That's a nice value proposition that's used from the description.
Good call. Clean. My OCD, if I have that, is a little bit life. It kind of feels like it's title case, but like it's not. One of the things text-wise that frustrates me is like picking a style. And that is not going to make or break your channel. But if you've ever heard of titlecaseconverter.com, one of my favorite websites, you could take this, you could put that in there and say convert to title case, and it's actually going to be lead your life with life. It's funny that and is actually lowercase, but that's what title case would be in terms of the words. That's also the AP version. There's other versions of title case, not the topic of today. And that's not going to make or break the results of your channel, but just something to note. And so as I pull this channel up, let's first get a vision. So lead your life with life and purpose. The problem with that to me, Rob, is I don't quite know what that is. Okay, if we go a little bit deeper, it's dedicated. If the channel is dedicated to life, it's a little broad. Learning, also kind of broad. Growing, all right. Thriving and loving. I get the energy from the channel. However, and I think channels like this could succeed, but those sound, if I'm bold and just blunt, kind of just like nothing words. Like, what did you just say there? You know, it's just sort of, we're just going to grow, going to learn. Let's thrive. We're going to love. Like, yeah, I want to do all those things, but what exactly are we doing? And then as it goes deeper, it's actually, I'm going to be sharing my work with real estate investing. So we got super specific tips on how to start your real estate investing journey and create generational wealth. And so I kind of thought we were going to go more personal development, more, you know, maybe manifesting or just learning personal development. And then we went to real estate investing. So if we head over to the content, we do have a transform your life challenge that's happening. But then we also have where to buy my first real estate investing property. And before the transform my life challenge was all real estate tips. So I'm a little bit confused. Rob, what are your thoughts?
So the thing that's really grinding my gears here, if you just scroll down to show the thumbnails, I'm going to ask this creator a question. For the Transform Your Life Challenge, did you make the videos before you made the thumbnails and the titles? And my guess is that you made the videos and you got so tired and exhausted making the videos that you had zero energy left to make a clickable thumbnail and an intriguing title. And unfortunately, the last thing you did is the first thing that every single potential viewer sees from your videos. And they feel like they've been phoned in, and that's really going to cost you views here. And I think we can already start to see like these ones where they put a bit more time into real estate investing, and they have a specific niche there. The view counts were, I think, 50 or above. And this Transform Your Life challenge, I'm already starting to see the views start to drop a little bit. What's in it for the viewer? Like Transform Your Life challenge day 2. What part of your life are you going to look at? For me personally, Sean, I would be trying to think about how these videos can stand on their own feet, 2 feet, without episodic titles and thumbnails. Like, what is the specific goal of this day? Is it to become better at your morning routine, or is it to become better at going to sleep at the right time so that you wake up in the morning fresh and energized? Or is it to make sure that no matter how busy you are, you eat breakfast? Really dial down on one of those goals and achievements you want to succeed in for that day if you want to carry on this Transform Your Life challenge. But then as we already identified, from a channel perspective, it seems to have been a huge pivot here from one direction to the other.
Great insights. Let's listen a little bit here to day 2 and see what we learned.
All right.
Guys, day 2 of our 21-day Transform Your Life challenge. What do you want?
So for what it's, we're going through layers of coaching here. I like what do you want even more than day 2, because think about hook first and then like welcome back to the challenge, like,
Yep.
and then potentially even a better hook, like, you know, but let's see.
What do you want in life, in business, in your relationships, in this present moment? What do you want to have? Now, it seems like a very open-ended question, and I understand that can be.
One other thing that just kind of I was noticing from a production level, the audio is pretty good, but where your mic placement is not really the ideal placement for a lav mic like that.
Yeah.
The hair maybe is rubbing on it on a little bit. I think the final result is still a good service to the viewer because it's certainly audible and it's probably much more clear than if it was just the on-camera mic.
Overwhelming. So let's break it down. So in your journal, write down the question.
And so to Rob's point, though, we have the opportunity here of maybe like tips for journaling or tips for getting clarity in your life, or how to go from confused to clear in your life.
What do you want, or what do I want, in first person for yourself? And then ask
how to get a clear vision for your life, how to get clear.
For work, for business, what do you want? Do you want to open up a business?
How to set goals, and to that point, then during the Transform Your Life channel, you front load a powerful title each day. Now, respect to the batch production, same sweatshirt. So I'm assuming maybe you shot all 21 days. You still have the opportunity, though, to do unique thumbnails and unique titles that are superior as this challenge evolves. And as you put it into a playlist or whatever, I think to go back and to think about the structure of it, just to get more return on investment out of what you've already created, to the point of the Power and Purpose show with Val or whatever's happening there. I think that all of the above is great. You're leading. Real estate investors do need to set goals. There is a mindset piece to it, etc. But that would be that thought on that challenge. And I would agree with Rob as well. When you kind of lean in on this other content with real estate, it's a little bit more clear. And if we talk a little bit about thumbnails in general, I think cropping in a little bit more. A lot of times we don't need, waste. Thumbnails are so small. It's fine, but like you can come up so much closer to the camera in terms of how the shot composition of you is. And then when possible, I think we have a little bit too many words. And it is my opinion. I know there's other opinions that you don't really need like the show. I see eventually you removed it. You don't need your show name or your branding on the thumbnail. I think the person who does it the best is Evan Carmichael. I don't know if people even understand it, but it's just a little paper airplane that's always in the corner. And he also has similar color schemes, but
Yeah.
power and purpose in the like, so eventually you removed it, but I would remove that. You don't need the subscribe button. You probably don't need the little the glass because it's small enough, and you don't need to echo the title in the thumbnail. It already says 5 myths of real estate investing debunked. So what you really could say is biggest myths, or you could say real estate myths, or you could just say myths, and there's a logo of a house. And if they're myths, your expression could also be maybe more tied into that. But overall, your ability to create thumbnails, pulling out these stock footage, question marks, your ability to your photography of yourself, um, you've got so much raw material here to, I think, make some tweaks to this channel to really help where it goes next. And I think the big question is, what is going to be your branding? What is going to be your messaging? Where do you want this to really go? And I would point you to, as a VRA member as well, inside of your members area is our niche finder course, which goes a lot deeper than just getting clear on your topic, but it goes into like branding, positioning, the big picture. If you haven't watched that, I highly recommend watching that, Val. Any final thoughts, Rob?
Unfortunately, the way the YouTube platform works is that it's not structured to funnel viewers into the first video of a series, like the challenge series that they've started. So you have to understand that a viewer could start the journey on your channel of day 28. And it's, if you were going to set up a course on Skillshare or Udemy, then fine, the structure is there. But YouTube is an interesting discovery swimming pool, and somebody may dive into day 25 of your challenges. So that going back to the 3 thumbnails that you have here, let's think about how each of those videos can stand on its own 2 feet. And as you said, Sean, if it's not too late, try and bring the hook of those challenges to the forefront. And then once you've got the viewer engaged, then you can explain maybe why you're doing the challenge. But I mean, it was funny how you went through the thumbnail a little lower down, the miss one. It was like everything you're doing wrong with the thumbnail and do the exact opposite. And that's like, as if you can make the complete opposite of that thumbnail, it would be a 1 of 10. Your click-through rate would be through the roof.
And one other thought here is back on just branding is, I think that we all go through this with empathy. Well, I don't know if we all do. I know that 99% of us do, and I did as well. It's kind of like you yourself, I can tell, are into personal development. You've got influence on you got the 10X rule. You've got like maybe Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and you've got these books over here. And so you probably know as a real estate investor that mindset and all that stuff is what helped you. And then you do have the very clear real estate investing videos, but under this power and purpose brand, in March, just last week, you posted a video that's like embrace your inner child. I'm guessing this is, your child or maybe a nephew or something like that. But nevertheless, the context of even this very video and
they allow themselves to feel
is you expressing maybe your art and vision. But what does that have to, okay.
your body is your vehicle to make this life your masterpiece. So believe that you are the type of person to have a consistent workout routine, to eat healthy, to.
And so I guess what I'm trying to say is I feel you're crushing it. Business is hard. Entrepreneurship is hard. Overcoming bad news and people, shutting you down.
4 tips to support you on your wealth and wellness journey.
And maybe you're also sharing some of these over on Reels and you have the ability to repurpose them here. But I am looking for a little bit of cohesion in just the brand and where we're going. I think this makes incredible sense to me. 4 tips to help you on your wealth and wellness journey. But then if we go hardcore real estate investing at times, remember, you never want to upload videos subscribers didn't subscribe for. So if you're kind of more of if it is workout, mindset, read, then that's why I really want to point you to Niche Finder. I think it's one of the most valuable things we've ever put out at Think Media, just because clarity is king, clarity is power, and it really can help you cut through the noise. It seems like if this is kind of a funny analogy, Rob, but I like to, if you're watching this, it's going to be awkward, but if somebody squeezes you, what comes out? But like, if you squeeze a lemon, lemon juice comes out. If you squeeze an orange, orange juice comes out. If you're trying to figure out what your channel is about, some people took it to a weird place. I think it sounds like if you squeeze Val, what are we talking about? If you squeeze Val, I think like wealth and habits, and kind of inspiration. That's kind of what comes out. And maybe your career is, yes, real estate investing. It might even be eventually that there should be two different channels. However, I would not recommend trying to do both at the start until there's systems or editors or people even helping you, if ever. But like, if somebody squeezes you, you're watching this, what comes out? And a lot of times we maybe have more clarity about what our channel should be about than we think we do. When you go to a bookstore, what section are you gravitationally pulled towards? You have to go to history. You have to go to self-help, personal development. You have to go to psychology. You have to go to the children's books. You go to the magazines and you go to the design books, and the things that you keep. If you find yourself drifting from the brand of the channel you thought you should start and drifting back to like the things you really want to talk about, well, maybe the things you really want to talk about is because you're an orange and you should be producing orange juice, but you felt like, professionally, it makes more sense to do real estate investing or whatever. So anyways, for what it's worth, I hope that, that analogy helps you.
I am certainly going to ask that question on our community tab straight after this live stream. I just wanted to add, it does feel as if we picked out a lot of things that creator was doing wrong, but there was also some green shoots. They've got 50 subscribers. I noticed that some of their shorts had over 1,000 views. Some of their real estate videos had over 100 views. So there's a lot of positivity there. Some creators, in their first 10 videos don't even get more than 50 views. So I do want to, just ensure that there is good stuff going on there. But like, because we've done channel audits in the past, Sean, we're always like laser focused on what's wrong, what needs improving. And we sometimes need to take a step back and say, this creator's at the very beginning of their journey. They are doing some things right. And there's a lot of things that we suggested there. And I would suggest, just of all of the things you've just written down, the 27 improvements that you need to make on your channel, tackle one of them per video. And within 3 months, your videos will be unrecognizable to what they are today.
And there's a lot of wisdom. I mean, literally the StreamYard HR department has entered the chat, and I am, I could be vulnerable right now. Not only that, Circle H Scuba dropped a lot of wisdom. Yeah, you should not squeeze other people unless you have a formal relationship with them and there's consent. You shouldn't squeeze people without consent. But ultimately, there are some insights that if you squeeze an orange juice comes. We're gonna leave it. Rob, I don't know if we went there. Was it good? We did. It's too late. There's no turning back. And this is his live stream as well. And Victoria is exactly right. Moving on. All right, let's hit some Q's here and we'll drop some A's. Does the community tab show up to those who are not even subscribed? I'm not sure how it is helping increase your subscribers, Rob.
That's what makes it incredibly powerful. It reaches beyond your subscribers. And every time you post, there is a subscribe button that's big, clear, and there to click on. And because it's on the home feed, it is a different visual cue to all of those videos that are being auto played. So when you post on your community tab, in my opinion, never post a video, post an image, post a poll, post a question, post an animated GIF, something that's going to catch their attention. And as Sean said, the Think Media channel has gained 1,000 subscribers just from 5 minutes work every single day. Super powerful tool, but you've got to be patient with it. As with all things on YouTube, it's not just going to immediately start giving you lots of impressions and engagement. You've got to do it for 3 to 6 months to start seeing some results.
The next question is, do you think it's possible to become a big commentary channel or content reactions channel still, Sean? I do. I think that especially in our VRA community, we're seeing people all the time start new channels in crowded niches and break out. I think trying to figure out how can you be different, trying to find out a unique angle on something that is, it seems like everybody is doing. You're not trying to beat the best. It's different is better than better. And another resource I'd recommend that we haven't really talked a lot about, I'm going to do some podcast episodes on it, is positioning. There's a book called Positioning. And this book is pretty wild because it's it was written in 1980s. The second 20th anniversary edition was written in 2001. And what they described in this book was that there's oversaturation in the market, there's too much noise, and we are an over-communicated society. It was 2001. YouTube didn't exist. Instagram didn't exist. The internet had barely taken off. And they were saying the secret to standing out in an over-communicated society is positioning. And positioning is probably not what you think it is. And this book breaks that down. And so, as you can see, it's marked up at a pretty crazy level. And I got this whole thing. It's like this thing is like a battle plan. It is a good book. And that would be the key. Is it still possible to become a big commentary channel? Well, of course, the intersection of mastering all the skills on YouTube. That's why I hope you're subscribed and, watch trainings like this, titles, thumbnails, topics, your on-camera presence, and all of those kind of things. But even saying that, one of the most fascinating points of this book is it even talks about companies, and it talks about that even talent isn't the difference. That might sound funny, that having even the best people at a company, using that analogy, is not the secret. Literally, your positioning. If you have the best people and all the money in the world, but you actually attack you try to dislodge Coca-Cola, it's not happening. Coke is the #1 cola brand. Pepsi has never been able to dislodge them. The key is not to try to become Coke. The key is to figure out how to be a niche beverage and start Olipop and have fiber in your thing, and to start Hop Water, which is, 0 calories, 0 alcohol, and start something entirely new. Right now, a lot of hop seltzers and waters is a blowing up category. It's not competing with anything else. Different is better than better. And so we'll link that up. I think that Positioning is a great read and resource that could help everybody watching this stand out in a 2023 world. It's scary relevant for 2021, and it's more relevant today than ever in 2001. And 20 years after that, it's more relevant than ever before. Lost Curry asked, does it hurt a channel or content to post long form, shorts, live streams on the same day? And I currently upload 6 to 7 days a week. Rob, what would your content cadence be?
I think, first of all, it very much depends on your audience. For example, if you are appealing to a gamer community and maybe they're under the age of 18, probably got more time on their hands and they consume a lot of content and they consume shorts. However, let's say you're appealing to a busy business-minded person who has a family of 3 and most of the time is taken up looking after their children and their business. They can probably only stomach 1 or 2 videos from you a week, and they're very quickly going to get overwhelmed by the content you're pushing out. In our experience, it doesn't matter how many shorts we seem to post. It doesn't seem to have an impact on our long form content. In actual fact, the more shorts we post, the more views we seem to get on our long form content. But maybe that's just anecdotal experience from our channel. And then live streams are a strange beast. Really, you need to be identifying the best time to go live for your audience because the reach of that live stream, typically speaking, tapers off very, very quickly after the end of a live stream. Very much like our channel audits do the same thing. We get a big community in the live stream, but then the audience is waiting for the next live stream as opposed to watching the previous one. Love to hear your thoughts on this one, Sean, considering you have 2 channels operating, 2 or 3 channels. You do shorts, you do long form content, you're publishing. I know you were publishing 5 videos a week and was it 2 shorts at a weekend, but you kind of mix things up. How's your experience of multiple content a day gone?
Yeah, these days we're kind of mixing it up. We're also trying to figure out our theme this year is built to last. What's a sustainable pace? We're focused on breaking out and resting this year. Different people, Omar's I'm going to be taking a break and all this stuff, which all is probably a separate topic. You were recently, Rob, you were moving,
Yeah.
you're on a break. I think that is a strong topic for creators in general, because there is a level of fatigue and when you're publishing a lot of content, and even at Think Media with the team. But what I could speak specifically to this question that we've learned is I don't hesitate at all to upload a short on the same day as a long. That's
Sure.
like,
Sure.
yeah, that's like two entirely different. Maybe try to space them out, but even if they're not super spaced out, that doesn't really bother me. We also will consistently do live streams on the same day as a normal upload as well. Mainly because recently the new YouTube podcast feature is very fascinating, and so it was more of a quick turn. A lot of times, a live stream for me might be a reaction to something that's happening in the news. And so a video came out, schedule upload at like 5 a.m. our local time. And then I'm going live at 11 or 1. And so I don't hesitate to do that as well. For the average person, though, I would space it out. Like one of the things we're doing is if we don't have a long to upload, we upload a short on the Think Media podcast channel, this very channel. Every day we don't upload a long, we upload a short because we just have a lot of vertical video that's kind of being produced. So I don't know if that's a clear answer. I actually probably wouldn't worry about it too much, but I would maybe space it out rather than force it on the same day. If you have 7 total, I would probably upload them at 7, a short one day, a live one day, a long one day. And if you are, we're a media company, obviously, with multiple creators. Therefore, I'm not worried. Oftentimes we're doing more than 7 in a week if you add up lives, videos, and shorts. And so not too stressed out about it. I'm excited about this question because our answers could be different. Jay says, what is the number one analytic you monitor? I'm going to answer, and then Rob's going to answer. And actually, no, what we're going to do is we're going to count down 3, 2, 1. We're going to say it at the same time. You only get to say one thing, Rob.
Oh, okay.
And we're going to say it not on 1, basically on 0. I'm not going to say 0.
Right.
3, 2, 1. Views.
Views.
Oh,
hey, well done. Not even heard.
So it's funny you say, because the truth is, if I'm studying our analytics, I am going to study click-through rate, average view duration, AVPV. We're going to dig into traffic sources and all this other stuff. But I think my reasoning, and I'm curious your reasoning, is because of this right here. I mean, top content in the last 28 days. It is giving us average view duration of it, but at the end of the day, views is how these are structured and ranked. And so at side of Think Media, I know I'm spinning off on the question. I am aware that your lower viewed video could have driven more clients or leads to your business, or a lower viewed video could have brought more depth to your community, or a lower viewed video could have driven more affiliate actual sales and generated more income. But when all things are said and done, we did the countdown. Views is the one thing that we measure. Rob, what's your thinking on that? Why is that?
I guess I say views to counter argue subscribers, because the last analytic you should be paying any attention to once you've got 1,000 subscribers to monetize your content are subscribers. And Sean, if you could share your screen again for a second, and maybe I've just been influenced by this tool that we've had at vidIQ for years at this point. It's the views per hour on the channel. So right now I can see that Think Media is getting 9,000 views per hour. And I've followed that analytic for the vidIQ channel for years, because that's kind of like the resting heartbeat or the cadence of the channel. We used to get 1,000 views per hour. Then we started to get 2,000 views per hour, then 4,000 views per hour. And as that gradually grows, what we're understanding is that not only is our new content performing better, but our evergreen content is performing better. And if that continues to go up and to the right over a long period of time, then your channel is growing. And then, as you say, Sean, you can drill down into analytics such as return viewers, impressions, watch time. But ultimately, although Shorts has kind of messed up this analytic a little bit, views, as long as they're continuing to climb, your channel is in a healthy state.
If you're getting value in the stream, hit like. We have a couple more questions and one more channel that we're going to be learning from today, which is the And so the gaming mom, gaming for parents and their gamers. So audience is parents, is mostly online digital business using YouTube to educate parents on gaming and technology. We have 6,134 views, videos, 10 negatives to video games, how to have a chill Friday with bear and breakfast. Oh,
Live stream, very long live stream. Wow, 5 hours.
okay, so is this
Can you divide the
playthrough?
fruits and show it who's boss?
Okay. Some kind of a game here, which is Jen explores bears and breakfast live on Twitch. Okay. So that's maybe the game, Bears and Breakfast. Early access trap, a warning for gamers.
Have you ever heard of early access games? They are games that are available to purchase in an unfinished state, with the promise of further development and updates. It's a great way for game
And we're VTuber here. In terms of our content, we got some B-roll. We have the frame around here.
developers to meet certain standards or provide guarantees about future updates or fixes. This means that gamers have to
Okay. And so, Rob, what are some of your thoughts for the gaming mom?
So what I find interesting is, first of all, presumably they were streaming on Twitch, and then they brought that recording of the Twitch stream onto YouTube and then uploaded it as a video on demand.
Yeah, because it doesn't say was live.
Because it doesn't say it was live. I'm wondering how successful that is for the creator versus their Twitch stream. I'm really curious as to what they were doing with the thumbnail. If you just want to go to the latest again, Sean, they had a thumbnail which was completely different to everything they've done in the past. It's almost as if they may have used like a Canva template and tried to experiment with something new and different. Again, I'm not sure how well that works versus the branding on the rest of the channel. And then we have this interesting VTuber style, which was visually interesting for like, I would say 30 seconds. And then once I get used to this new style of presenting, I wasn't seeing any B-roll or any graphics appearing on screen. So it was as if the creator put all of their efforts into this VTubing experience without realizing that, unfortunately, viewers still have a very short attention span, and they're going to get familiar with this view quite quickly and then want to see something interesting and different. And other than this text appearing on screen, how visual engaging is this for the viewers? So I know I've picked up again a lot of potential challenges for the creator, but that's what I was noticing from first impressions.
Yeah, and that's an interesting thought. If we are going into the VTuber world, just like you would want to switch angles in a physical on-camera scenario, if you had multiple angles or different shots or different pans, if that was creatable, a zoomed out shot that showed the office, or, you know, the virtual office or whatever, that theoretically could be more interesting. And or the VTuber character is there, to your point, 10 or 20% of the time, but just like any other video, it's a majority B-roll or a majority gameplay, keeping it kind of interesting there. I also would say, I do think that we have a niche focus challenge, because to your point, you know, live on Twitch and gaming, the parent who's trying to keep their gamer safe or be educated about gaming is just probably not going to care about your gameplay.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And so you can, with the size of the channel and where you are now, you can take it any direction, I would argue, because there's not like momentum that would hurt you. The Gaming Mom is a really cool brand, and it's kind of like, I think it has potential, but this is also kind of a niche finder type of a question that is, I would imagine there are some, you know, tips for parents of gamers. I don't know. I wonder if that's like a niche. Is it really possible to build a brand around that?
Yeah, I was thinking of a search term, parental control video games, and seeing what came up there. There's probably going to be some how-tos from potentially games companies, or like from Sony or Microsoft, on how to turn these things on. I mean, wow, 45 million views there.
I mean, Healthy Gamer, like, well, what are they trying to do over here? I spent dating advice. I tried intermittent fasting for technology. Kind of interesting, but success leaves clues. This would be a good channel to maybe research a little bit if that hasn't hit your radar. What I would think is that a lot of these would be a one-off video as opposed to an entire brand, is my guess. Healthy Gamer could be the one to, Dr. Phil covering video game addiction. And so that becomes one of our biggest questions, is like the viability and the total addressable market. And also the fact that a one-off video helping a parent is gonna be way different than building a brand and having them subscribe and wanting to come back, especially having them wanting to come back to watch you play Bear and Breakfast or whatever. But what I also think is interesting is if you were to go more towards gameplay reviews and you were to tap into essentially the gaming mom, where my brain goes is, you could look up the data. I would guess mother aged women who play things like Farmville. I think we're talking millions.
Farmville. Wow, that's a blast from the past.
And that might not be the hot game right now, Rob. See, I'm not obviously in the cool mom game culture, but like Farmville 2023 tips, and Farmville 3. I'm on this now.
We're talking. Now we're talking.
So we're in Farmville 3 level up gameplay. And so that's like literally building a community, like moms who love to game. And there'd probably be a certain type of games. Now that would be an angle it could potentially go. And then in addition to that, you would not be forcing people to be a part of your community. You may just share, 3 how to level up in Farmville 3. And that attracts some certain levels of viewers, but your brand, your channel name becomes clear. And then there's maybe like a group of, moms who also love to game. And they maybe there are some ethics that you're playing wholesome games or something like that. You're playing a certain type of games and tapping into a niche there. So to me, that goes back, and we talked about even positioning. It's like picking out the niche, the positioning, the thinking behind the channel. Any final thoughts on this one?
If you can just bring up the channel again, Sean, and go to most popular. If this creator wanted to stay on the topic of protecting your children from the appropriate content on video games, I can see your most popular video is how to set up parental controls on a Nintendo Switch. So as a proof of concept, I would say, right, we've got the 3 biggest consoles out right now, which is Switch, PlayStation 5, Xbox. I would do tutorials on how to set up the parental controls for all of those devices. Hopefully they've changed in the last year. So the Switch one could probably be updated. Then I would look at the 10 most popular video games that children play. So you're talking about Fortnite, you're talking about Minecraft, WWE 2K wrestling, etc., FIFA. And I would be doing very simple tutorials on the parental controls for all of the most popular games. Very search based, very I guess one hit videos, like you may get a viewer interested in that video game and then that returns to your channel. But to find out whether or not there's a sustainable long-term viability for that type of content on the channel as a proof of concept. Now, maybe you want to intersperse it with all of your other content. So you do these 10 videos that I'm suggesting over the next 6 months, interspersed with what else you have. Because as you say, Sean, I like the idea of becoming more of a community-based channel where it is gaming moms who also have children who like to play video games as well, might be the idea.
And to your point, if we stay on mission, because she has a mission of educating parents in the world of gaming, if we stay on that and some of your advice, it makes me think about some business models are kind of bigger than YouTube, and maybe blogs or articles or building a personal brand or becoming a resource it's thinking about where is your audience. Like it's where is your audience? Where is your basically target customer? Because your mission is to help educate parents on the world of gaming and related tech. And so the YouTube channel can also be a resource, but potential chances are you're not going to become a staple in a parent's life. You're going to become a touch point when, to your point, there's a search-based problem, there's something problem, there's a particular thing, and it's enough of a mission, but then on top of that, there's maybe other angles to it. The discipline, though, is realizing like, well, how do I keep sustaining content? And there's some of these gameplay videos that to me feel like maybe less is more, like just focusing on topics that are like that instead of let's play Stardew Valley. And how is that educating parents on, and then that your Twitch channel may be different than this particular resource with this particular mission. You do interviews with video podcast, you do interviews with experts on psychology and gaming, and you do news on different reports that have come out on gaming and whatnot. That's like a particular thing. So really hope that's helpful. And with all that, we are 12 minutes past the hour, and we have a customer success retreat in Vegas today, and my wife and I are headed over to do some meeting with our team in person who flew in.
Nice.
So we have to land the plane. Rob, people want to check you out though. Where are you at and what are you guys up to?
So when I started working for vidIQ, I was melted down into my constituent parts. And so I have no social presence other than with vidIQ. So whether it's on Twitter, Instagram, mostly through the channel, you'll find me there helping creators essentially do what I did. And that was to turn my passion into a career. And I want to enable as many creators who have that same dream to achieve that goal as well. But it looks as if Dan's doing all of our shorts.
I know, especially on shorts. Here we go. We finally got this up. Yeah. And so, yeah, definitely head over to vidIQ on YouTube and subscribe. So much valuable information over there. Rob, thank you so much for jumping on today. And also big shout out to vidIQ in relation to sponsoring this video. Super grateful. And if you haven't got your 30-day trial of vidIQ's paid plan for just $1, you could go to vidiq.com/think. There's also a link down in the description. I highly recommend you check out the description. By now, Victoria's probably dropped a link. We mentioned positioning today. Great resource that I think is critical in 2023 if you are a book person and into kind of stuff like that. And definitely also subscribe, because we have this is the Think Media Podcast channel. In fact, we have a new episode that we dropped this very week all about how this channel got hacked, was down for 10 days. And Snubs, Shannon Morse, came on, who's an expert that shared the most valuable stuff that I've ever heard in regards to staying safe, making sure your YouTube channel doesn't get hacked. And so highly recommend checking that out. My name is Sean Cannell, rhymes with YouTube channel. This is the Think Media Podcast channel. Subscribe if you're not subscribed, smash like, and we will see you in a future video.